This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. After watching this circus yesterday that unfolded, the monarchy, in my opinion, must act decisively if it hopes to remain any shred of credibility. Meghan's blatant fraud, claiming she gave birth to both little Betty and Archie, at this point insults the public's intelligence. The royal family's inaction on this, as we have seen, has been deafening, and these children should be removed from the line of succession until irrefutable evidence proves their legitimacy. Meghan's stunt yesterday, in my opinion, was a calculated move, banking on the public's gullibility and the monarchy's apathy. She's either trolling and mocking us, believing her lies about little Betty will hold, or flipping a defiant middle finger, confident that she and Harry are untouchable with the king's backing. For 6 years, the royals have enabled this sham, complicit in the deceit. In my opinion, their silence screams approval. If they're willing to let 2 illegitimate children remain in the line of succession, what else are they endorsing? The sickening flood of leftist propaganda from Sussex paid media outlets, mirroring tactics used to prop up and lie about Biden, tries to normalize this fraud. But I really don't think the public is buying it, and we're not blind. Meghan knew her actions would spark outrage, yet she and Harry continue to deceive UK taxpayers. If the king is complicit, he has betrayed his subjects, and I think he must step down. The monarchy's inaction isn't just weakness, it's a betrayal of trust, prioritizing power and Agenda 2030 over its actual subjects. This woman that we're calling Meghan Markle, she's a lying scumbag whore. And those back in 2020, if you dare challenge this narrative and saying that you believe that Meghan is wearing a moon bump and she did not give birth to those children, you were automatically censored. And I think this is an important thing that people need to remember, is that if anybody had talked about Meghan and criticized her, especially around the bump, you got demonetized, deplatformed, doxxed, harassed. The same tactics that were being used on people during the 2020 election, as well as during the pandemic. I don't want any of us to forget the abuse that so many of us suffered over questioning this woman's legitimate children in the line of succession. I don't want people to forget what they did to Yankee Wally, what they did to Taz, what they did to Murky Meg, and what they did to Ashley, rest in peace. I don't want people to forget that these 2 assholes took food out of the mouths of people who needed to earn a living. And this is why I'm not letting this go, and I will see this to the end to make sure that these 2 are held accountable for violating our basic human rights. So if this bitch wants to play this game and sticking her middle finger up and showing us how she got away with all of it, think again, Meghan Markle. This is so far from over. Do they both think that they were really going to get away with this? Take, for example, this photo Meghan put up yesterday to celebrate little Betty's birthday. Newsflash, folks, this photo is of Archie. Now, if you look closer, one of the distinctive features in all the pictures that we've seen of little Betty is that she has these round, chubby cheeks. When you look at this child and you look at all the photos that they had put out about Archie when he was little, he had a very small, thin face. So now when you compare photos of little Betty and Archie when they were newborns, you can see the clear difference in the face structure. Little Betty's cheeks are a lot chubbier than Archie's face. As you can see in the middle there, the child that Harry is holding looks nothing like the child that Meghan is holding with the chubbier cheeks. In addition to that, from the Netflix mockumentary, the shirt that Harry is wearing is the same faded shirt that he's wearing in the photo that we're supposed to believe is with little Betty. And that's simply not. So once again, we have Meghan lying to the world to portray this facade of the birth of this child. I mean, I don't know what she's trying to get at here, but she sure looks stupid right now. Now, aside from seeing with our own 2 eyes that this is clearly fake, The other indicator that Meghan did not give birth to this child is telling because of the room that she is in. Let me show you. So Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital has two types of rooms in the maternity ward. They have the birthing rooms, and then they have the postpartum rooms. And I believe that Meghan Markle, doing her twerking, was in the postpartum room, waiting for this baby from the surrogate to do her skin-to-skin contact. That explains why she only has one ID band around her wrist, as well as keeping her jewelry on and not wearing any type of gown or hospital garb. Here's what a birthing room at Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital would look like. Notice how spacious it is. Notice how well lit it is. When you compare to the space that Meghan Markle's in, it's a lot smaller and a bit cramped. Plus, the lighting is very dark.
Fetal heart rate and contractions are monitored closely during labor. The duration of monitoring depends on how the baby is doing, how the mom is doing, if certain interventions were used in labor, and physician orders. Your physician and nurse will work with you during your labor to achieve optimal comfort and movement throughout your labor during any monitoring. Every room is equipped with an IV pole and an epidural machine. These are not always used, but are available in every room if needed. Our birth unit has multiple birthing balls for assisting in labor. You may bring your own if you wish. We also offer peanut balls for helping you rest in bed if you choose to get an epidural during your labor. Each room includes an alcove for your support person to sleep in the room. Please call the unit prior to arrival for current policies on having a support person and bringing items from home. The beds in our birthing rooms can be modified for delivery. Pushing is done in various positions throughout labor. The bed is usually changed to this position shortly before the baby is delivered. Immediately after the baby is born, the baby will be placed skin to skin on the mom's chest. The baby will stay there for about 2 hours or until after the first breastfeed. Postpartum rooms are set up to promote mother-baby bonding. Mother-infant nurses will come to you to provide care in the room so the family unit can stay together. For example, newborn hearing screens are done skin to skin with mom in the room.
So if we are to take this photo seriously, then it would make sense as to why she was in the postpartum room, because immediately after the surrogate gave birth to little Betty, they must have rushed the child over to Meghan so she could have this skin-to-skin contact for the first 2 hours, which I believe is what happened here. Because if Meghan really did give birth to this child, then she would not have been allowed to keep her jewelry on. And as you can see, Meghan left a little piece in this photo showing that she is wearing this jewelry. Stupid her, but it exposes her for being the fraud that she is. She lied. The other thing I'd like to point out, and I believe I said this at the time when I was reviewing this series, was that why was Prince Harry lying in the hospital bed with little Betty while Meghan creepily rubs the back of the child? If Meghan truly gave birth to this child and it came out of her body, she wouldn't be standing at this moment. Instead, she has Harry lying in the hospital bed while she's filming and rubbing the back of this child. Obviously, she's not in the bed with him. So what does that tell you? Of course, they lied about the whole entire thing. As you can see, they're in the postpartum room because there's the window. Harry could have easily have sat in the rocking chair or that little couch, but no, he chose to take the bed, even though his wife allegedly had given birth out of her vajayjay of this child and chose to make her stand. Yeah, anybody buying this? I'm not.
The majority of rooms are private. We make every effort to maintain all patients in private rooms.
You know, it's fine if Harry and Meghan want to ruin their lives, but don't go and ruin two innocent human beings' lives in the process, because that's essentially what Meghan and Harry have done. Now, I know that there's quite a few of you that don't believe that either of these children exists. I don't necessarily believe that. I believe that Archie does exist, and I do believe that little Betty exists. But the question is, do they belong to Harry and Meghan? And that's the part that I don't believe. I don't believe either of those children belong to Harry and Meghan, and they somehow along the way procured them, not only to leverage and exploit, but also to weaponize against the family, which is what we're seeing going on right now. any time that we saw little snippets of these two kids, they don't look happy. They don't look like they're living normal lives, which makes me really sad because they're innocent in all of this. And it just makes Meghan look that much more nasty, cruel, mean, you name it. Now, I do believe that everything that Meghan and Harry do is designed to provoke and agitate people. It has been that way since day one with Meghan Markle. And I do believe that it's all by design. Whether or not you believe that Meghan is a construct, I still do believe that Meghan is a construct, and this is still part of this psyops. This pregnancy is one big disinformation campaign that they have been trying to figure out how they get out of. But right now, Meghan is looking more and more foolish because people see that this is truly the con of the century, and the royal family have yet to do anything to nip it in the bud, which makes it very difficult for me to say, oh, they're completely innocent in this whole mess, especially with Harry and Meghan coming over here to not only meddle and interfere with the 2020 elections, but also to try and destroy our First Amendment. Now, I am of the belief, and I'm allowed to have this belief based off of the lack of action by the royal family, that the king knew initially what Harry and Meghan were planning on doing when they got here in 2020. We all hear about this long game, but the longer that this goes on, the louder that this is going to get. And right now, it's getting loud. If the royal family thinks that they can stay silent and not do anything about it and it's just going to go away, I think they're sadly mistaken. What Meghan did here is pretty much a slap in the face to the UK taxpayer because she knows the king most likely is not going to do anything. They have been silent throughout the whole entire time. What makes you think anything's going to happen now? I honestly don't think while King Charles is alive, he's going to do anything about these two. And unfortunately, we're going to face a couple more years of this theater and gong show that we are witnessing, unless the United States Congress figures out that these two had been involved with some pretty dark things here within the United States, especially when it comes to censoring Americans. And that, in my opinion, is going to be the downfall of both Harry and Meghan, especially when American patriots get a hold of how they have been infringing on our civil rights. And I do believe that that time is coming soon. As many of you know, I have been advised to continue to keep talking about this, and there are people who have been watching this channel. So please be patient. The time is going to come. Have faith that these two are going to face the justice that they deserve. Period. All I can say is just trust the kid. But what do you guys think? Do you think the royal family is going to do anything about this? Do you think this is going to go on for a few more years? Do you think justice is ever going to be served? Definitely let me know your thoughts below. As always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!
Such a fraud.